For today's tutorial we are going to look at the different line patterns that can be created to include variety in our artwork. For this tutorial you will need my roller pattern worksheet, which is available on my TES store. Now you can print this out, or like me you can have it as a digital copy. You will also need some watercolors, some wax crayons. Make sure that they are wax crayons. It just gives us a nice effect, which you'll see later when we use our watercolors over the top. You'll need a dice, numbers 1 to 6, and I've provided a template of an ice cream which we're going to draw our patterns on today. Feel free to use this or any design that you wish to fill with your patterns. So this is a nice simple interactive worksheet that you can use to create different patterns. What we're going to do is we're going to roll our dice. Whatever number that we land on, that is the pattern that we will do for our first section in our design. So if I have a roll first, my first number is 5, so roll number 1, I got 5, so I'll be doing this checkerboard pattern. Now for this pattern you can use any of the colour crayons that you have. Makes a nice picture if you use a few different varieties as you go along. Try and push down relatively hard with your crayon. Again, when we go to do our watercolours later, it just gives a more vibrant effect at the end. After you've filled in your first section, we're going to go to roll number 2, and again simply roll the dice and it decides what pattern you're going to create. So for pattern number 2 I rolled a 1, so we'll do this zigzag pattern in space number 2. And I've chosen a different colour this time just to give it a nice effect at the end. If you want to do it all the same colour, that's absolutely fine, it's your piece of art. Again, push down reasonably hard for the effect at the end. Okay, I imagine you've got the hang of this now, so roll number 3 is here, so roll the dice. Again, it chooses the pattern that we will be doing, so roll number 3, we rolled a 3, so we'll be doing these short dashes. You can do lots of tiny dashes, you might make them slightly bigger if you want to space them out. It's just giving us an idea of the different types of patterns that we can produce. And it doesn't matter what media you're using. Could be pencil, could be pen, could be markers. It just gives us a variety of different patterns that we can produce within our artwork, just to make it more interesting. Okay, so let's see what pattern we're going to get for roll number 4. So roll number 4, we've hit a 5, so now we have horizontal, slightly longer dashes for our 4th section. Make sure you're pushing down with a good pressure. When we use our watercolor techniques later, it's going to show the crayon a lot clearer and give you a nice patterned effect. Okay. Again, roll number 5, so you know what we're doing now, and we roll a 4, so for 4 we've got these tiny circles that we're going to include. Okay, as you can see we've now done our 5 rolls, but we still have 3 spaces left on our ice cream to fill. So we can just go back to roll number 1 and roll the dice again, and we should get a different pattern. Lovely. So roll number 1, we rolled a 1, so we've got these nice diagonal dashes in opposite directions. Again, I'm trying to use a different colour each time just to make it more interesting. Don't worry if it's not exactly perfect, it still gives you the idea of the patterns that you're creating. Okay, and now we've done 6, we'll go on to roll number 2 again, and we've got a 3, so we'll do long diagonal lines. Good, so now we're just left with our 1 square left, so we'll do roll number 3, let's see what pattern that we get this time. Okay, so we got a 1, so these are just some random dashes across the page. Looks a little bit like ice cream sprinkles, would have probably been quite nice at the top, but we'll put them in the bottom. So now that we've done all of our patterns, we're ready to use our watercolors. Now, try and use a fair amount of water with your colors to lighten them up. And what we're going to do, we're going to paint over the top of our patterns. Again, you can use any colors that you like. You can paint over the top in the same color as the crayon, or you can use a different color to have a nice contrasting effect. So I've just gone for red for the first one. You can see as I paint this on, wax crayons resist the water, and that leaves us with this really nice pattern with our watercolors and our crayons. So, like I said, we want to use lots of water with our colors just to lighten them up, and then be careful to stay inside the lines and paint over our pattern. And you can see we get a lovely effect. Continue this down your pattern until you've filled in all the different sections of your ice cream. Good thing with watercolors, if you do make a small mistake like I just did, and just put a little bit of watercolors over the line, just get a bit of tissue and it should soak that straight up, and there you go, it's gone. And there you have your finished piece of artwork using different patterns and using a wax resist watercolor technique. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you have, please follow my YouTube channel, more tutorials are coming soon.